This week on ANN, Adventist leaders in Germany advocate for peace as the world reflects on the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I.
The inauguration of an Adventist hospital outside Nicaragua's capital city generates high praise from government leaders.
And the world's smallest pacemaker is implanted at the Sydney Adventist Hospital.
These stories and more coming up.
This year represents the 100th anniversary of the end of the First World War. With this in mind, the Seventh-day Adventist Church's German territory urged its members to not participate directly or indirectly in a war.
The call for nonviolence was outlined in a statement named The Audacity of Peacemaking. The piece was published in this month's edition of Adventist Heute, the official magazine of the Adventist Church in Germany.
The statement says, "The end of a war does not mean that peace has begun. This is a lesson of the First World War."
While it is true that this war demonstrated a degree of cruelty and dehumanization that horrifies to this day, it was nevertheless merely the beginning of a kind of modern warfare that would mark a path of uninhibited violence right through the entire 20th century.
It concludes by saying, "We are of the conviction that reconciliation, forgiveness, peace, and justice can only thrive on the foundation of a way of life free from violence, just as our Lord and Master Jesus Christ exemplified through his life and death."
In the same way, we desire to live out our responsibility in this world without violence. As Adventists, we believe that God's kingdom of peace is coming to us with the return of Jesus. Let us already be heading towards it through our conduct today.
Visit news.adventist.org to read the full statement.
The inauguration of an Adventist hospital in Nicaragua marked a new partnership with the government for promoting health. The hospital in the city of Esteli is located 150 kilometers or 93 miles from the nation's capital. The three-floor facility has 10 private rooms and 20 beds and is the city's only privately owned hospital. Loma Linda University's Adventist Health International, the church's Inter-American region, and the South Central American Union within the region contributed to the hospital's construction. The initial funding, however, was given by Dr. Donald Vargas. Vargas is an orthopedic surgeon who was born and raised in Nicaragua and now lives in the U.S. state of Texas. The new facility is the expansion and relocation of the Adventist hospital that was once located in the city of La Trinidad. Years later, it was moved to a small rented house that continued its medical care and community outreach. Fast forward to January 9 for the facility's inauguration ceremony, which drew city officials, church leaders, and community representatives. The nation's Minister of Health was among the attendees who applauded the Adventist Church for its commitment to community. Dr. Victor Manuel Martinez said, "We are very glad to work together and move forward to accomplish so many things so that the northern part of the country can have better medical attention and become healthier." According to the president of Adventist Healthcare Services Inter-America, the local government has been so impressed that it has invited the church to expand its efforts into additional cities. Dr. Eli Honorar said, "The excellent health care the community of Esteli has seen confirms once again how a hospital or clinic can be a center of influence in the community. It's about the church with its health message as a whole playing a very vital role in the life of that community in Esteli."
The world's smallest pacemaker was successfully implanted at the Sydney Adventist Hospital, or SAN, in Australia. Pacemakers are medical devices that use electric impulses to regulate the rhythm of a heartbeat. The new pacemaker is approximately 1/10 the size of standard models. Since it can be attached directly to the heart rather than a pocket of skin, the new pacemaker is said to reduce the chance of bleeding, infection, or swelling. The interventional cardiologist for SAN Hospital, Dr. Peter Ills, calls the device the future. According to SAN, the pacemaker takes nearly an hour to implant. After the procedure, patients can be discharged within 4 hours.
An international search and rescue operation for passengers of a ferry boat accident in the Central Pacific was suspended last Friday. Efforts to find additional survivors after a 2-week search yielded no results. Alarms were raised in Kiribati after a ferry boat carrying nearly 90 people did not reach its intended destination at the township of Batillo on January 22nd. Kiribati is an independent republic comprised of 33 coral atolls and isles located along the equator. It was later discovered that at least 80 of the passengers were killed after the ferry sank. There were only 7 survivors. 23 of the passengers were children and youth who were on their way to begin a new school term. According to a local news organization, Guardian Australia, there was no passenger list for the MV Butirawi 22 vessel. Officials had to go door to door in Nanoati, the departure location, to establish who was on board. The leaders of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in the nation and Pacific Territory expressed their love and sympathy towards the affected families. The president of the Adventist Church in Kiribati, Luther Tavenike, said, "Our prayers are with you in this time of sorrow and sadness, and we will still hope to find others alive somewhere in the Pacific. May our good Lord comfort you in this time of sorrow." In addition, the president of the church's Trans-Pacific Territory, Mavena Kaufanunga, said, "My heart fills with sadness with the news of what happened in Kiribati. I offer my sincere love to the families who have been affected and want them to know that you are in our prayers. We believe that Jesus' coming is very soon, where he will end all pain." He went on to say, "May we hang on the blessed hope of Jesus' soon return, and may God give you strength and courage as we face the reality of living in a sinful world."
The humanitarian agency of the Seventh-day Adventist Church was recently awarded for its commitment to education in Somalia. Addre Somalia received praise during the 4th Joint Review of the Education Sector conducted in the city of Puntland. The agency is recognized for its continued efforts to develop higher education for marginalized Somalian children. Representatives from the European Union, World Bank, the Global Partnership for Education, and UNICEF were among the attendees. Addre Somalia has developed programs in the nation that have helped more than 200,000 children in need of quality education. With major grants from the European Union, Addre Somalia has trained teachers how to produce essential resources and ways to offer scholarships for students in financial need.
Coming up, Adventists around the world reflect on the legacy of Voice of Prophecy singer Del Delker in wake of her passing.
But up next, an online platform is created to bridge the church to healthcare in the southern region of the U.S. state of California.
May I work in with you, young fella?
Yeah. Go for it.
That's the way you do it. Got to put a little weight on it. But I'll put it back up here for you.
Welcome back.
Thanks so much for joining us this week.
When many think about the Seventh-day Adventist Church, it is likely that health comes to mind, whether about our practices of temperance or our worldwide network of hospitals and clinics. The health message is one of the distinguishing characteristics of the denomination. However, a group of Adventist church and medical leaders wanted to examine how health principles are shared within churches. This led to the creation of wellchurches.com from the Adventist Church's Southern California region within the United States. The website offers a 6-module online course to help churches and leaders in their search for qualified, evidence-based presenters. Among the committee members who created wellchurches.com is Bruce Nelson. Nelson serves as Administrative Director of Community Research and Mission Development at Adventist Health Glendale. He says, wellchurches.com represents a unique opportunity to build much-needed bridges between church and healthcare ministry. This training includes many stories and examples that explain both how to do it well and how to avoid the pitfalls. According to the president of the church's Southern California region, Velino Salazar, wellchurches.com has the ability to promote awareness of health and well-being among community members. He said the goal is to motivate and guide the population to improve their own health, to strengthen their immune systems, and resist sickness and disease. He went on to say, "It is amazing to think about the possibilities of improving population health in the Los Angeles metropolitan area with the partnership between the churches and our hospitals. Together, these organizations have the vision to instill the desire for better well-being in the LA basin."
Del Delker, a beloved Adventist singer, passed away January 31 at age 93. For nearly 50 years, she ministered through song for Voice of Prophecy. Voice of Prophecy is a supporting ministry of the Seventh-day Adventist Church located in the United States. The ministry is a religious broadcast organization that has delivered Bible studies throughout the world for more than 89 years. The current speaker director for the ministry is Sean Boonstra. Boonstra reflected on Delker's ministry upon learning of her death. He said, "Del had the ability to preach a sermon through a song. Her face was radiant with the love of Christ, and over, I heard people say that listening to her was a taste of heaven." The president of the Seventh-day Adventist Church also shared how her music impacted his ministry. Ted Wilson said, "I recall a time when I was working in New York City with a strong emphasis on reaching the people of the cities that we produced a visual program showing the need to minister in New York City and other cities as Jesus did. We used a strong musical motivational component of the program, Del singing a hauntingly beautiful appeal song written by Billy Hanks Jr. titled Lonely Voices Crying in the City. He went on to say, Del Decker's rendition of that beautiful song touched the hearts of so many people as we appealed to them to take time to reach people around you, and especially in the great cities of the world." Visit voiceofprophecy.com or facebook.com/VOP ministry to read more stories about Del Delker.
More than 50,000 meals were distributed in the Brazilian state of Sao Paulo thanks to a partnership involving the Adventist Development and Relief Agency. Together with Rise Against Hunger, a total of 600 children and their families will be recipients of nutritional food. Addre Brazil has begun its food distribution in Santos Basin to 3 child development centers in need. The meals were packaged by Rise Against Hunger, an organization with a mission to provide food and life-changing aid to the world's most vulnerable. The organization partners with various agencies around the world to help end hunger. The meals distributed by Adventist Brazil contained enriched rice, soy, protein, dried vegetables, and 23 essential vitamins and nutrients.
And finally, for the news this week, we're about to share a glimpse of the severe drought that is plaguing Rwanda. In addition to water supplies, droughts can affect the availability of nutritional food. The following story from the driest region of the country follows a project by the Adventist Development and Relief Agency in Canada. There, Addre workers are equipping community members with skills to get the most out of their land. Addre Canada has more.
Located in the eastern province of Rwanda, the Kayonza district is home to about 350,000 people. It is one of the driest regions of Rwanda, and for the last 3 years has suffered severe drought. Many of the villages are remote and have not benefited from many programs of community development. In cooperation with the government of Rwanda and local authorities, surveys were conducted in some of the most remote communities of Kayonza, and critical needs were determined. In addition to the challenges of living on marginal lands with low rainfall, it was found that there was a high incidence of malnutrition in children. In order to respond to this urgent need, Addre Rwanda reached out to Addre Canada to fund a project that would help parents provide better nutrition for their families. In 2014, the Koroneza Nutrition Program was launched through a partnership of Addre Rwanda, Addre Canada, and the Canadian Food Grains Bank. Working with over 2,000 rural families in Kayonza that were determined to be the most vulnerable, the primary goal of the Koroneza Nutrition Program was to reduce malnutrition in pregnant and lactating mothers and children under 5. Through health education, the provision of drought-resistant seeds, and training in techniques on how to grow home kitchen gardens in dry regions, the Koroneza program has brought a self-sustaining solution to the problem of hunger and undernutrition in this region of Rwanda.
We moved here in 2013 because of the dream of having a larger farm. The land was cheaper here, and we were able to purchase a fairly large plot. The first 2 years were fine. We got enough rain to bring our crops to harvest. But then, starting in 2015, we have had a severe drought. We have had hardly any rain at all for the last 2 years.
Many of my neighbors have moved away from here because all their crops have failed and they have run out of food. Fortunately for me and my family, I took part in an Addre training program that taught us techniques of how to grow vegetables and other edible plants in dry regions. Without that training, I don't know what we would have done.
Last year, we planted 90 kilograms of beans, and we were only able to harvest 10. It was very fortunate for us that Addre came to work in our village and shared with us some drought-resistant seeds and taught us how to grow kitchen gardens in this desert region. Addre showed us how to dig holes in our garden and fill them with plant materials and manure that would help build up a natural water retention barrier. That way, a little bit of irrigation goes a long way. Another method is to bury clay pots with small holes in our garden. We fill up the clay pots and it slowly sends moisture out into our garden. Following all the Addre training, I was able to grow vegetables in my kitchen garden, even here in the desert.
I am driven to learn everything that I can to help my children survive and be healthy. Addre has not only shown us how to grow vegetables, but taught us how to keep our children healthy by providing balanced meals. Once a week, we would gather under a tree and learn about how to live healthy lives. There were lots of good cooking demonstrations, after which the children would enjoy a healthy meal. I have noted a great change in my children since I have them on the Addre diet. My 8-year-old especially has had a big improvement. I've even noticed a big change in myself. My health has really improved. I wish that I could go to Canada and speak to the donors myself and give them my biggest thanks.
I have 2 of my grandchildren living with me. Having the Addre garden right by my home has been a real blessing. Thank you, Addre.
Coming up, learn about the upcoming World Radio Day.
But up next, an introduction to an Adventist mission video series.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Elena et je suis en train de parler en français. Il y a beaucoup de vidéos très chouettes, mais pas beaucoup sont traduites. Vous pouvez aider.
Join the Amara translation and caption team today. Amara is easy to learn and fun. You can volunteer in your free time. Join this community today and provide great content in your language.
Welcome back.
Since we've concluded the first season of the Lineage series, we would like to transition to another compelling series, but this time in the form of mission stories.
Moving forward, we will highlight various Adventist initiatives throughout the world that are a result of the Church's commitment to mission.
This week, we'll begin to hear stories from the Church's inter-American region.
We'll see how 2 universities are aiming to make an impact in their surrounding communities.
Welcome to the Inter-American region, a place of friendly people and beautiful landscapes. With many languages, cultures, and isolated islands, sharing the Adventist message here can be a challenge. But God is working miraculously to reach the hearts of these people. Lying in the southeast Caribbean Sea is the island of Trinidad. In a land full of breathtaking beaches and lush green mountains, you'll find rich cultures and a variety of people. There are some 66,000 Seventh-day Adventists out of Trinidad and Tobago's 1.5 million people. Along with 160 organized churches, Adventists operate a university in a community that has members from all major world religions, making this place a perfect opportunity for cultural and religious exchange. Only 1 out of every 3 students at the University of the Southern Caribbean is Adventist. The diversity on campus shows the level of respect people from other religions and worldviews have for this university. Currently, the university lacks a church for spiritual and community events. There are plans to construct a church on campus. The new sanctuary will hold 1,700 people and house a center of influence that aims to engage people in cross-cultural mission, evangelism, and urban ministry.
The church at USC is the catalyst for that transformation. It is a light to the campus, but also a light to the community. It is more than just a church. It is a community mission center where we distribute, where we meet the needs of the community by literacy classes, other welfare programs, healthy cooking classes, and many have come to know Jesus Christ because of these ministries.
From this center, local Adventists will survey the neighboring community and strive to meet the people's needs. When Jesus walked the earth, he mingled with people, showed sympathy toward their needs, and by serving, earned their confidence. Today, we are called to do the same throughout Inter-America and the world. Puerto Rico is known as the Pearl of the Caribbean Sea because of the water's beautiful color and abundant tropical nature. Despite its small size, almost 4 million people live here, of whom 33,000 are Adventists. Across the island, you will find more than 300 Seventh-day Adventist churches, where dedicated members work hard to share Jesus. Antillean University is the only Adventist university on the island. Students here represent 22 countries. But on this campus, there is no Adventist church building. There is great potential for church growth around this campus, and the faculty makes plans to construct a sanctuary for worship and mission activities. The new church is a necessity because it will serve as a spiritual foundation for both the students and the local community. Nearly half of the students here come from non-Adventist families. University leaders see a lot of potential for a center of influence operated from inside this church. Please pray for these universities in Puerto Rico and Trinidad and Tobago, as they each build God a house and grow His worldwide family of believers. There are many people on these islands in need of hope.
Visit AdventistMission.org to learn more.
Radio promotes access to information and freedom of expression. That's why the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, has designated February 13 as World Radio Day.
Emily Mastrapa has more.
Radio is the mass media reaching the widest audience in the world. It is still one of the most dynamic and engaging mediums there is. It is also recognized as a powerful communication tool and a low-cost medium. It offers new ways to interact with and participate with people. This Tuesday, February 13, is World Radio Day. It's a day to celebrate radio as a medium. Find out how you can get involved at diamundialradio.org. If you're hosting an event, you can register it there, and you can see what events are happening near you. They also have materials for you to download. You can find more information by following their Facebook and Twitter pages at World Radio Day. And don't forget to use the hashtag World Radio Day when posting. The church uses the radio to reach people all around the world. For over 40 years, Adventist World Radio has been reaching people in their own languages. Adventist World Radio provides programs by local producers in about 70 countries who create content in more than 100 languages. Visit awr.org for more information and to see how you can tune in.
And finally, for this week's episode, let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
This week, learn about a pastor in the southern region of the United States who was arrested for breaking a Sunday law.
Welcome to This Week in Adventist History. On February 4, 1879, Samuel Mitchell died of tuberculosis in Brooks, Georgia, aged just 29. He had helped to found the Adventist Church in Quitman, Georgia, one of the first congregations in that state. In July 1878, Mitchell was arrested under the state Sunday laws for plowing in his field on a Sunday. He was not allowed a lawyer, but as eyewitnesses recorded, he replied readily to the prosecution, showing himself familiar with the Bible and maintaining his right to religious freedom. But the judge disagreed and fined him. Mitchell refused to pay and was condemned to a month in jail. As his obituary records, Mitchell believed he could do more good, could better help on the great work of reform of the Sabbath, and bring it before more minds by passing 30 days in jail than by paying the fine. But sadly, Mitchell suffered bad treatment in the prison, which was also damp and unsanitary, and so he contracted tuberculosis, which killed him the following winter. Mitchell was a martyr for Sabbath keeping. On February 4, a year ago in 2017, George Akers died in Collegedale, Tennessee, at the age of 90. After graduating from Washington Missionary College in 1947, he served in pastoral ministry, obtained a PhD, and returned to his alma mater 23 years after graduation to serve as president of the college, by then called Columbia Union College. It is today's Washington Adventist University. Akers was president from 1970 to 1974, part of a more than 50-year career as an administrator and educator at Adventist academies, colleges and universities around the North American division. That was this week in Seventh-day Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details, and feel free to send us full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 21.
The passage says, "Whoever pursues righteousness and unfailing love will find life, righteousness, and honor."
That's our program for this week, and remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.